Hi, it's me, Vamp, and welcome back to the podcast. Now, I know, it's been a while since I actually have done a podcast episode. You guys are probably like, Vamp, where have you been? Well, there's been some behind the scenes stuff going on. Not first of all, some IRL stuff. Don't worry, it's not bad at all. And then there's also been some behind the scenes stuff happening with my Warframe Madness YouTube channel, as well as even my Vamp Plays YouTube channel. It's mostly good news, I think. So, definitely don't worry about that. I'll be able to hopefully share more information in the future about it. Let's just say if the behind the scenes stuff comes to fruition, my channels will actually be better off. If you want to check them both out, Warframe Madness, type it into YouTube search, it will pop up, as well as Vamp Plays. If you type that in, it will come up as well. I believe Warframe Madness, I have a bit over 3,500 subscribers. Vamp Plays, I have around 400 something. I think it's 440, something like that. So yeah, definitely feel free to check those out if you want. But yeah, I felt like it would be a good idea for me to make a podcast. I'm not sure how long this particular episode will be, because I'm not going to be talking about too much. I don't really have too much to talk about, except for Warframe. Warframe, yeah. Warframe is actually in the news, as well as on my mind, for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason I can talk about right now is that the TennoCon. TennoCon is going, from the time of recording the episode, TennoCon is in, let's say roughly a week. It's more like a week and 1, 2, 3 days, but let's say roughly about a week. So it's in 10 days. Ooh, 10 days. That, from the time of recording this. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Vamp, why do you seem nervous about it? Okay, for a couple of reasons. One, I want to see what happens. There's a lot. I know that it's going to sound odd, but I feel like there's a lot riding on this TennoCon reveal. A lot of my community has already voiced their opinions on it and whatnot, that, they want this reveal, that they need this reveal to be super big in order to keep them, playing and not going to other games. With that said, if you are on the verge of burnout, I recommend, take a few days off, maybe check something else out and whatnot, because I'd rather, that's good for any game, really, that you enjoy playing quite a bit, but since we're talking about Warframe right now, it's going to be targeted at Warframe. So yeah, I'd rather you take like a couple days or a week off of Warframe, then come back to it, refreshed and stuff, other than, the alternative is getting burnt out. And believe me, I know the feeling with other games in general. Once you get burnt out of the game, your mind is really hesitant to go back to it. I don't know how to explain it. If you haven't got burnt out on a game before, you will most likely not understand what I mean at all. But that's one of those things. It's just your mind is hesitant to go to back to something that you're burnt out on because it remember the feeling of being burnt out on it, the feeling of not wanting to play it. So what I usually do with most games is I like if I feel myself getting to the point where I'm burnt out. Not that I'm burnt out, that I feel like I'm going to be burnt out. I'll be like, okay, I need to set this aside, play another game. Luckily, since I am a content creator, I stream on Twitch sometimes. I make YouTube videos on both Warframe and other games in general on my second channel. Thanks to that, I'm always playing different games. So, burnout hasn't really been much of a problem for me at all. Actually, I I think there was this one time I came very close to being burnt out. It was when Planes of Eidolon first came to console because I'm a PS4 main. I I ranked from 1 to 5 in 2 days. Maybe 3 days at the most, but I think it was just 2 days. And I had to kill a lot of Eidolon. There was only one Eidolon at that time, so I had to kill, because in order to rank from rank 1 to rank 5, you gotta kill a total of 60 Eidolons, 30 to rank from, I believe 2 to 3, 20 to rank from 3 to 4, and 10 to rank, no, 10 to rank from 2 to 3, 20 to rank from 3 to 4, and then 30 to rank from 4 to 5. So that's 60, and each Eidolon kill only dropped one Eidolon shard. I was also, capturing like non-stop as well, because, I needed a brilliant shard so I could unlock my focus waybound skill. That's probably the closest I've come to actually being burnt out in the Warframe. I feel like I'm very fortunate because I have a bunch of people who stop by who don't play Warframe much anymore, but and I appreciate them because they just stop by the stream or my YouTube channel or whatnot just to talk, hang out. They often, they're usually like, yeah, I haven't played Warframe in a while, but they come to hang out, you know, that's always a good feeling. But yeah, burnout does exist. I'm fortunate enough to not be in that situation. And trust, I know what you're thinking, but Vamp, it's so much easier for content creators. That is not true. It may seem true, but it's not. Okay, me, I have a lot of small things going on the side. I have this, that, whatever. But they did a streamer that is known for one game. If they do other game, people don't show up. People show up for that one game that they stream. Some people might show up for other game, but it's nowhere near the numbers of that one game. So they feel like they have to stream that one game constantly. And then imagine that same streamer streaming that game so much that they actually get burnt out on that game. What can they do? They can't stop streaming the game because that's, especially if streaming is their full-time job, because that's the game getting the views and stuff. But I have a recommendation for you guys listening to this. If you guys are streamers and or want to be streamers or whatnot, every now and then, just to, like, tell your community, let your community know, like, for the longest time when I started streaming, I would do Indie Game Friday, or it doesn't have to be Friday, or whatever, just let your viewer know that, you're gonna try a different game at least once a week, or, something like that. Just to eliminate that full-on burnout. Oh, and while we're on the content creation conversation, while we're on streaming also, rather, don't do what I did in the beginning, okay? When I started streaming on Twitch, I would force myself to stream 6 to 7 days a week. Excuse me, 6 to 7 hours every day. I would miss sleeping. I would decline hanging out with friends or family because, streaming. I would like, oh, I gotta eat, gotta sleep, gotta stream. Don't do that. It's really unhealthy. It's really unhealthy. So now I'm mostly I still mostly now focus on the YouTube, but I do stream every now and again when I can. I'm gonna try, as background stuff happen, as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, ad stuff happen in the background. I plan to actually, do more streaming and get a solid schedule and all that stuff, because consistency is important, as I've been told numerous times in the beginning. So, yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of moving parts right now. So many moving parts, it's a little scary. I know that might sound odd, considering that content creation is what I do, and I should be used to it by now, one would think. But let's just say I'm taking the next step in content creation, okay? I'm taking the next step. It's a bit scary because it's a brand new step. It's just a little scary. What I'm used to, what the new step I'm taking, the new things in the work, they are better. They will help me grow. They will help me do a bunch of stuff. But it's just a bit scary because I'm not used to it. I've never done it before. It's new to me. And new things can be scary, especially if you've been one way for so long. Like, yeah, it's just one of those things. It's something it's something that at the end of the day is a whole lot of my problem. But, I feel like I can share stuff with you guys. And, yeah, I may not be able to tell you what all the cogs are, or the moving parts are, rather, but I can tell you that it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary, not going to lie. It is a little bit scary. That, coupled with the fact that the PS5 pre-ordered could open at any time. I could go to sleep for some hours, then wake up, and then a pre-order already set, and they all sold out. That's like my worst fear. That and that I don't have enough money for the PS5 because we don't know how much it's going to be. I have a little bit saved up, but like I said, we don't know how much it's going to be at all. Now, those of you guys that listen to this, but rather listen to it, this podcast, if those of you guys that listen to it, but would rather listen to it on YouTube, let me know via going to on the YouTube, going to Vamp Plays. You can either type it into the search bar, or you can go to youtube.com/VAMPLAYS and do it that way. The reason, and just leave a comment on any of my videos telling me you want the podcast videos back, because I do actually read my comment there. They weren't real popular on the YouTube. That's why I took them off YouTube. I mean, stop putting them on the YouTube and put them only on the streaming platforms and whatnot. Because like I said, they weren't real popular on the YouTube, but if you guys do want them to return on YouTube, let me know. Plus, I'll be honest, I got in the habit of using them as sort of a crutch to I'm like, oh, I can't make a video for that day. I'm just going to put a podcast episode up. That's like a big no. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do that. That would me taking the easy way out. I could fully make something for the channel. I could have prepared better. I could have used my time a little wiser. But yeah, enough about that. Let's go back to what were we talking about? I guess Warframe, TennoCon coming up. Now, this is going to be the first fully at-home TennoCon. Last year, there was a little weird thing. Okay, so maybe I should mention. Okay, so the year before last and the year before that, at those TennoCons, what it was only Tenno Live was streamed, and then the art panels and stuff you had to be there for. And then last year, even the art panels and all the other panels were streamed, but you could still go in person to meet everyone in person and whatnot. And now this year it's fully digital, so everything at TennoCon is going to be streamed. It's going to be a streamed TennoCon thing. It's going to be new because, and I just thought of this, honestly, just thought about this. The staff isn't even going to be in the same room. They're all going to be on their collective webcams in their collective houses. And I don't know, I still don't know if you guys can hear the beep or not from my headset, but I forget to turn it off half the times before I begin this podcast. And what happens is after 20 minutes it turns off on its own. I have no problem at all when I have other people as guest stars on the podcast, But if it's just me on the podcast, it's one of the things that, of course, it will turn off because it doesn't detect any sound in, coming out of it. Okay. Now, before I continue, I would like to mention if you guys play Fortnite, use creator code VAMP 6x6x6x. That's V as in Victor, A as in Apple, M as in Mother, P as in Peter, 6 as in the letter 6, X as in xylophone, 6x, 6x. So yeah, that's my creator code. So if you play Fortnite, feel free to use that creator code. And yeah, I really don't really have too much to say. This was kind of I don't know type podcast. Not really I don't know. It's kind of like I was like, hey, I haven't done a podcast in a while, so I should do a podcast. We talked about Warframe, we talked about moving parts, we talked about all that jazz. So I think we're good. I think we're good. I think I'm actually going to end the podcast episode here. Now, yes, I can see roughly how many of you guys listen to the podcast, and I really thank you. I really appreciate it. I really am surprised, honored, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Well, I assume you guys enjoy it because you're listening to it. Either you guys enjoy it or you like torturing yourself. But yeah, seriously, thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, if you do go on YouTube and leave comments, I do check my comments. They actually do inspire me and stuff. I know it sounds cheesy, but they really do. And yeah, with that said, I'm going to end the podcast episode here. Thank you again for listening. I'll catch you guys hopefully in the future. Later.